Right, people, welcome back to disc number 8, part 8 of my Laurel and Hardy series. And this disc has classic shots on it. The theme of it is Blackmail. So the first one on it was something called Chickens Come Home from 1931. And this has Stan and Ollie there in the fertilizer business. Ollie's running for mayor. An old flame comes along demanding money, or she'll release a picture to the press to his wife. An incriminating picture, I imagine, incriminating picture for the time, because I don't think that kind of thing would bother anyone today. But one thing leads to another. They're having a dinner party. This woman's going to go round, so Stan's deployed to stop this woman. He has a big old tussle with her, wrestling, trying to stop her from turning up. And the funniest thing in this was probably when Stan's in a car and he reverses into another car and the car crumbles to nothing. It just crumbled. This woman does eventually get to the house of Ollie, and the wife turned up, and they try and get her out by putting a woman on Ollie's shoulders, putting a big overcoat around him. So you've got this thing that looks like it's 7 foot tall with a woman's head and Ollie's feet. And when I saw that, I laughed for like 3 minutes. I just thought, how are you going to get away with that? What the fucking hell does that look like? That looks like one ugly looking thing. Like, what is that? And I laughed. So that and the car were probably the best things about the film. But I didn't mind it. I thought it was, built up nicely. Then from 1931, a film called Come Clean, my favourite of the lot. Stan and his wife go round to Ollie and his wife's house. Uninvited, they don't want to see them. So Stan writes a note and puts it underneath, which is a reworking of the opening of Should Married Men Go Home. But eventually they come in. Stan wants ice cream, so they go off to ice cream, which reminded me of another film. I think it was one where they dressed up as women. They were the wives. They dressed up as the wives. And Stan wanted some ice cream. It reminded me a little bit of that. But they go down to ice cream. On the way home, they save a woman. She throws herself into a river to kill herself. But when they save her, she then says, "You owe me now. And if you don't take me into your home, I'm going to scream." And every time they leave her, she screams, and they run back, and they're all panicking. But of course, this woman's in the house. The wives are in the house. So trying to sort all that mess out, and that was funny. At one point, the woman puts on the radio, and Stan and Ollie straight away just get up singing with a pair of pans like that, making a noise. That I laughed quite a bit at that. I really enjoyed that one. 1931, Come Clean, my favourite, was quite enjoyable. Then the last three, are silent films. And if you watch any of my videos, you know how I feel about these silent films. But Love 'Em and Weep from 1927. This film is the original Should Chickens Come Home? Not Should Chickens Come Home, because this film was remade into Chickens Come Home. But there's a guy who playing the role that Ollie would play in that, called James Finlayson. He's in lots of them. He's in a couple more coming up. He's in lots of these things, and he's fine, absolutely fine, nothing wrong with him at all, but he's not Ollie. And when they do the old trick of, woman, overcoat around her, it's not the same. And seeing Stan interact with James Finlayson, it's not the same. And Ollie isn't in this unless he is the man with the moustache. So if he's the man with the moustache in this film, he is in it, but they don't share any time. This is before they were an official team. But not overly keen on that one. Didn't do a great deal for me. Then, Sugar Daddies, 1927. James Finlayson again. Stan is his lawyer, if you can believe it. The lawyer to James Finlayson, who's a rich oil tycoon, after a night of fun and drinks, wakes up the next day to find he's married. He's got a stepdaughter who's a gold digger and a brother-in-law who wants to murder him for his money. It wasn't great, but when Stan and Ollie, who is the butler, and James Finlayson, they all go into hiding, it was fine. Again, it's fine. Nothing that stood out for me. I'm not sure if I'm going into these silent shots and I put it on and I see it's a silent. My mind goes, oh, not a silent film. But hey ho. And then the last one is Early to Bed, 1928. Stan and Ollie, they're bums. They're sitting on a park bench. They've got a dog with them, and Ollie comes into some money, and he says to Stan, "I'll make you my butler." But after a night of drinking champagne, Ollie comes home and he plays pranks on Stan to the point where Stan fights back, and then the pair of them almost destroy the house. Probably the better of the silent films that I've seen in this entire series, and most definitely more enjoyable than the two in this disc. I can see people watching this roaring with laughter because this is what slapstick silent comedy should be. But I do miss them when they don't talk. But that's the films on that. The Theme of Blackmail, disc number 8. Comments are welcome.